Looks like class is about to begin. Very exciting. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Xuanzang's Tower. I know many of you are here through the Hatha Yoga Pradipika program. And so thank you for joining us. And we're very excited to be bringing you a text today that is a very famous and very special book called The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life that Geshe Michael and Seiji have been working on together for, I don't know, at least a year now, maybe longer. And before we get started with that, and it looks like the boss and Seiji are very busy for the moment, I'll make a quick announcement. As you can see, they are preparing diligently. I just want to share with you all that YSI has produced this amazing event, Hatha Yoga Pradipika 4. And they are extremely grateful that many, many more people have been coming to attend these events in person. And they were a little bit caught off guard by how many people registered to come. And so they couldn't fit everybody in our college, in our location in Sedona, as we used to. So they went and rented another space. And we are, it's in Poco Diablo, a very beautiful resort in Sedona. I had the pleasure of staying there recently. It's fantastic. And so anyway, they rented it at the last minute. Poco Diablo gave them a really great rate, but we're still a little bit short and covering the cost. So Francisco, do you have a QR code? If people want to help contribute to YSI's costs for renting that venue for the people who could attend in person, they would be very grateful. So Connie would be grateful and the whole team. If we don't have that QR code now, perhaps Francisco can share it during the break. So that will be available, the opportunity to support YSI in covering the costs of the venue. And we'll put the code up in a bit. Geshe Michael and Seiji are now fidgeting with their computers and coffees, shuffling papers around and drinks. That to me tells me that they are ready. So fellas, take it away. Thank you very much.
Nick, can you hear us?
Hello. Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. All right, so I'll start with a quiz. Thank you for the introduction. Also, good to have you back, Geshe.
Thanks.
I think the last two classes were team classes, so.
Yeah, sorry.
No, good to have you back. We're happy.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so as you remember, we finished chapter 2 of the Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life. In the third to last paragraph, do you guys remember why does Master Shantideva mention bad deeds by nature and bad deeds which are forbidden? Anyone remember?
Was it because he's done both of them, and he wants to beg to stop doing them?
Yes. I guess the question is, what do each one of these refer to? Do you remember, Nick?
Oh, there are the ones that some of them are vows which became prohibited because people did them. And I think those are the ones that are forbidden. And by nature is more like the root downfalls or something, or I can't even remember now. I feel like it's so obvious and I forgot.
Well, as far as I remember, it's anyone, regardless of their commitments, if they would do that, they would make bad deeds. Right?
Okay. That sounds reasonable.
Awesome. And then at the end, thank you, Nick. At the end of the second chapter. Oh, how does Master Shantideva finish the second chapter? What are the two key elements necessary for a successful confession? Someone remember that? Yes, Jigme said you have to be sorry. And then the other element?
Promise not to do it again.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Venerables.
Excuse me, Seiji. Regarding question number 1, could you give us an example of each type, please?
Oh, yeah. So those who were forbidden is the bad deeds that you planned because you made a commitment. The one that I could think of is, as opposed to someone who doesn't have the commitment, who would not necessarily plant bad seeds. So for me, drinking can be one of those. If you take the vow to not drink, then you're definitely breaking a commitment. Whereas if you don't have the vows, if you just drink and don't do anything else, you don't necessarily, in certain cases, you wouldn't necessarily plant a bad seed. Whereas the other ones, the ones that he calls by nature, if you steal, regardless whether you have vows or not, you would make a bad deed. What do you think?
Thank you.
No, there are, I think the basic distinction is like killing people, you know, we call it a natural bad deed because it really hurts somebody. And then there were other bad deeds that originally were allowed in Buddhism. Drinking alcohol was allowed. And then later some monks got in trouble because they got drunk. So then Lord Buddha made a rule that no Buddhist can drink any alcohol. That's called I don't know, that's called proscribed, or, you know, that a rule was made later. So that's the classic division. One is called a natural bad deed and one is called a proscribed bad deed.
All right. Will it be the case that if you drink and you don't have the vow, you don't plant a bad?
It would have been that way at the beginning of the Buddha's career, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
But then he made a rule. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So thank you to Jigme and Utpala to confess the actual deed and to commit of not doing them anymore. For extra points, if you were to make this even stronger, what other two things could you do? Otherwise known as the four something.
To feel good about it? Like breaking them? Or what was the question?
No, to purify, the opposite, to purify the bad.
Okay.
So he asked, you could confess and you could promise not to do it again. But if you wanted to make it even cleaner, what could you do?
Yes.
Generate regret.
Rosa says 4 powers.
Right.
Okay.
Generate regret, and then do some sort of counteraction.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.
And commit to refraining from doing it for a specified amount of time.
Right.
That's okay.
Awesome. Well, that's already there. Confessing and committing not to do that anymore.
I mean, of all the people you could confess to,
Right.
you could upgrade.
Well, in the text, he's already saying, well, he's
It's
confessing
already
to
saying your
his,
teacher.
yeah, well, to all the conquerors, yeah.
Okay.
I think what Venerable Cutting is referring to is that sometimes we do certain breaking of certain vows, and it's like a habit for us. And if we commit to not breaking it for a particular amount of time, we are creating better karma than if we had said we are not going to commit it ever again and then broke it.
Yep,
Okay.
that makes sense. Thank
Makes
you.
sense.
Awesome. And super exciting. What new chapter did we start? And where's particularly particularly practical about the first paragraph of this third chapter. Lindsay.
Yeah, the chapter is about how to think like a bodhisattva. And I think the practical point is he's praying for beings who are suffering and rejoicing about good things like enlightened beings. And there's one more thing. And he asks the victors to stay.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking more about the what I found super practical about this first paragraph is that he praises the actions of that took them outside of the lower realms. So yeah, I mean by praising the protectors, acquiring the wish, something practical, good deeds that relieve the torment of the lower realms. Meaning he explains to us what really protects us from that is the good deeds more than people who achieve it. I mean, of course, the people who achieve it protect us, but they cannot if we don't do the work. Awesome. All right. So we were in this fifth. We did it up to the fifth last time.
I think we're starting on 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So please read this verse, Seiji, and then we'll check your translation.
Okay. Detar didakunchate gewa daki sangpakang.
Yeah, when it's got an S, lengthen it. Daki.
Daki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sakpakang. Yeah.
Daki sakpakang. Deni semchen tamche ki dunyal tamche serwarsho.
Good. May the virtue that I have collected from doing all of those good deeds, good. The only suggestion I have is not very big, and it's to distinguish between the detar and the didar. I mean, it's a small point, but probably some commentators thought it was important.
This virtue that I have collected, and therefore I made the virtue that I have collected.
It's not de. It's not LTAS. It's detar.
Right. And just so.
Yeah, that way, and it's probably a reference to the previous chapter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or that came before. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So there has to be a more clear reference to what came before. He's referring to something that came earlier, because he said like that. So probably there's 3 commentaries about the like that. Have to bring it out in the translation. It's I have collected in that way. You see what I mean?
Okay.
And then you have to make it plural because it's didar. That's the plural. So
isn't that these deeds kind of
that's all.
Or virtues?
Okay. You got another verse for us? Yeah. Who's gonna read, Seiji?
Berta, ¿estás traduciendo? Are you translating? Oh, okay. Min fan?
Yes.
Would you be able to read?
Okay, read the Krovana Baji Sintu Nasos Kyunki Watuni Smantan sman panin tatang. Te ina chung ye paso.
Yay, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Seiji, you want to read your translation? May I?
With the help of
Yeah, it's Nicholas. Nicholas.
May I be the nurse for the sick and the physician and medicine to cure whatever ails living beings until those ailments are cured.
Yeah, Joan. Yeah. Yeah, the only suggestion I have, and that's a subtle thing about translation, okay? It says, ne su kyoki. Oh, yeah. Joa nepa jisidu, the first verse, the first line. Joa nepa jisidu. You could read it as for as long as living beings can still get sick. Then it changes. Then the feeling of the verse changes. You see, it doesn't say until their ailments are cured, right? That would seem to imply, if they got measles, then until the measles stops. But if the verse, the first line of the verse, the feeling in the original language allows for saying until they are cured of all possible sickness ever. You see what I mean? That's a little different than saying for as long as they might be sick today. He's allowing to read the verse as for as long as illness exists in the universe. And he's implying what?
There wouldn't be possible to get sick.
There will be none in the universe. And that's a very beautiful connotation to try to catch in the translation. Okay, that's all. Yeah. You gotta figure out how to do it. Because he is. Then that becomes bodhicitta. Because that's until the universe clears out of sickness. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
What do you want to talk about this? Because we didn't go through this.
Do you have more translation?
I do, yes.
Let's do all your translations, and then I'd like to go back and teach you some of the special vocabulary, like the Sanskrit. Okay.
Awesome.
That's partly why we're doing Seiji's text, because the Sanskrit survived. So that's only 5% of the books the Sanskrit survived. The rest were burned and destroyed. So the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, we do have the original Sanskrit. So it's a great way to learn Sanskrit. If you're a yogi who wants to read the yoga texts, for example, the text of the great 80 Mahasiddhas, which would be a very valuable thing to make a course of after Bhagavad Gita. You understand? Okay. Those exist in Tibetan translation. Many of them were lost in Sanskrit. And they were a kind of a favorite of Jetsun Kappa. You want to know why? When he invented the Great Prayer Festival, Munlam Chemo, which was a national party, a national 2-week party, and they still do it. It went very well. Like small fires broke out and suddenly got extinguished by themselves and stuff like that. And then he was feeling pretty cool about it. And then he walked down to the Sangbo River outside of Plaza to kind of just walk along the river. And he ran into this weird guy who turned out to be one of the 8 Hasiddhas. And he said, don't congratulate yourself on this festival, because there were countless demons who attacked it. And it's only because we were hanging out and protecting you, that it wasn't a disaster. And then from that day on, he had a deep relationship with them. And a lot of their books still survive in the ancient scriptures that John has saved. So that would make a tasty course for 2 years from now. Okay. Next.
Cool.
Okay, stay there.
You know what?
1 year from now.
Oh, Alex, you want to read?
Mm.
I don't see anything. 세당 검기 charchete chapte
Pup day.
papte tre당 검페 뚝nhau sel 무게 kelpa warmeitsem dagni 세당 검두gyur.
Good. Nice. Okay. Translate.
May a rain of food and drink fall, dispelling the pain of hunger and thirst. May become food and drink during eons of famine.
Good. Okay. Good. All right. That's a good translation. Let me see. Favorite and drink. Dispel the pain of hunger. Yeah, and he's gonna start this theme of he doesn't say may you get a new car or something. He says may I become your new car. So this whole chapter is very personal, and he says may I become a new car for you, and you can drive me around. And here he's saying may I become popcorn and I don't know, milkshakes, and may everybody eat me and drink me. And it's a very beautiful feeling. As you go through the chapter, he's praying that he could become those things. And that's really beautiful. Okay. So you got to make sure you drive that home. Yeah. Which you did. Yeah. Cool.
Jen, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to ask me, but go ahead.
If the Dakni is distributed to both parts?
Of the say and the kom, you mean?
Oh, no, I mean, like, may I become food and drink during famine? And like, does he want to become the rain? Or does he want it? Because it looks like he's just saying,
to fall during the famine.
okay, so it's all the same. Okay, I see.
But we're going to talk more about that.
I know.
Okay. You're done with translation.
Yes.
So we're going to go back for some vocabulary work, okay? Which is what we do.
I'll give you the.
Can you give me the control of the plane?
Wait, hold on. We need to get Geshe on the Zoom. Can someone email the link to Geshe, please?
I think I have it. I have it on. No, don't get it mail. Here you go. Yeah. I got it here. This is it here, right? No, it's not this one. Okay, you want to do it? Yes. Hey. Okay.
Can you make us a panel?
Hey. Uh-oh. Okay, share. This one. This one, right? Okay.
But I don't know how much back you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to here. All right. So each time we do Shantideva's text, we try to learn some Sanskrit. And if the Sanskrit is interesting to you, then you could come to the Sanskrit classes that we have. So we are building up we are building up vocabulary. We are learning new Sanskrit words, but we are also building up our knowledge of Sanskrit grammar, which is perfect because it's Sanskrita, okay, which is the meaning of Sanskrit, the name. But it's also quite complex. So I try to teach a different principle each class, each verse, to give you a different principle of the structure of Sanskrit language. And then I try to give you vocabulary which is important. Okay, so I take important words and I give you vocabulary, especially if they have come into Western languages. And then it'll be easier for you to remember. Okay, so we're gonna start going through that. If you're interested in Sanskrit, like if you're a yogi and you want to be able to read the yoga texts, then come to the classes called Organic Sanskrit by Christina Kasika, who's right there. Okay, and I think they are free online classes, right? Sorry, they're also online, but they're also in person. Can I say? All right. And she's doing a nice job. Why I call it organic is that we are working through Sanskrit by reading a text. I personally don't like to sit down and try to read a grammar book. And that's how I learned Sanskrit, and it was terrible. I had 60 students in my class at Princeton, 58 dropped out. 2 of us were, what do you call it? You didn't get credit, you were auditing. We were the only 2 at the end. So anyway, I prefer to learn a language through something I'm interested in. So, and there's nothing more interesting than Shantideva. Okay, so here's some words. He mentions here in this first verse, let me give you this, this special thing that is required by certain folks. There you go. Okay. Say Shubha.
Shubha.
Yeah, so Shubha means it's the word good deeds. When he said, whatever good deeds I've ever done, may they clear away the suffering of all beings. Okay. And Shubha is a word that you should know. In Tibetan, it's Gewa, which is extremely common word. Okay, and it basically just means good karma. Okay, so you should know the word Shubha. All the words that have SU in them in Sanskrit mean good. Okay, and that's, I taught you before, but there's an Indo-European root. Indo-European is like the mother of Sanskrit. And there's an Indo-European root, ESU, Esu, and it means good. So anything you attach ESU to it, it means good, okay? In Greek, the S dropped out and you got EU. So U means good in Greek, like euthanasia means a good death. Eurythmics means good rhythm, right? Euphemism means to say something insulting in a nice way. Okay, all right, so EU. And then in some languages, the SU survive. It's rather than the EU of the ESU. So anyway, SU, when you see SU at the beginning of a word in Sanskrit, it usually means something good, okay? So you got Shubha, Gewa, and here are some of the ancient roots, Shub and Shum, to beautify. And the ancient root meant more to glide along smoothly, okay? And we have words, shove, shovel, scuffle, they all come from skoid, which is Indo-European, and those, they all mean to glide along smoothly, okay? For things to go along smoothly. And that's, so you should know by the time you end Seiji's book, you should know, you should have like 100 or 200 Sanskrit words in your mind. And one very important one is Shubha. And Gewa, the corresponding Tibetan, is extremely important in Buddhism. It's everywhere. Okay, so Gewa, Gewa di, Gewa kun, okay, got it. Okay. All right, 7th verse. I like the word Vaishajya. It means medicine. Okay, and you heard it in Vaishajya Guru. Say Vaishajya Guru, and that's medicine Buddha. Okay, they in the ancient languages they don't say medicine Buddha, they say medicine teacher. They don't say medicine Buddha. So Vaishajya Guru, and this is a Google. This I found on Google, so I'm not too sure about it. Google AI is the one that told you to use glue to keep cheese on pizza. No, I mean it takes information that other people put in, so you know. But anyway, it looks. I did research it. The ancient word is pisag, which means physician, and that's a form of a misspelling in Google. It should be bisaj, and it comes from abisaj, which means to apply a plaster. In ancient medicine, plaster means like a goopy thing that you put on a wound to suck out the poison. Okay, so Vaishajya comes from abisaj, to put a plaster on somebody. Then we have glana in the Sanskrit. We have glananam and glana. I don't know, I was just curious because it looks so sexy. Glana. I don't know, it sounds like a movie star. And it means to be sick, okay? And to be suffering. And I found an old Indo-European root, gal, which means to be cold and to get sick from getting cold. So when he refers to the sickness of all living beings, he's referring to his illness that they got from the weather or something like that. Okay, glananam, and that came into cold, congealed, jelly, glacier. When you see a greater than sign, it means linguistically it came into those other words. You know, it developed into those other words. Okay. All right. Next verse, which we finished already. So Nick, you asked me about this, and I'm kind of interested in the third line. Muge kalpa parmed se. And muge means famine. And there's famous stories of muge where a family will dig around in their cabinets to find a teaspoon of food and try to share it. And you know, you grew up in a world where hunger was not common, but it has been common in all of history. People have survived off spoonfuls of food. And so muge means famine. I was talking to my wife about a retreat I did in West China at a place called Umeshan, right? And it's a famous mountain. And I did a 2-month retreat in a farmer's cottage there and got to know the bed bug situation. And the toilet was 2 boards over a pool of poo-poo that's used for fertilizer. But the balancing thing was kind of tricky. Big, I'm talking like the boards were like 20 feet long. You're 20 feet out over this pool and you're trying to balance and do all your things. And but I remember something there. I remember something striking was that I spent 2 days walking through the forest. It takes 2 days to climb that mountain. And I didn't hear a single bird. And I didn't see any animals, no squirrels, no mice, no lizards, nothing. You know, and I asked somebody, I said, well, why is that? And he said, famine. This used to be a center of famine, and people caught the birds with nets, and they caught the lizards, and they caught the ants, and they caught anything they could eat, you know, and the forest never recovered. And so I think a real muge is that, real starvation is that Samuge Kalpa. So the wording here is interesting. If you're a translator, Kalpa Parmed Se means in the middle of those kalpas, right? And Bar, we know Bar from Bardo, from the state between death and rebirth, Bardo. So that Tibetan word Bar means in between. So you should read this as in the middle of periods of famine, which can go on for thousands of years in Buddhism. So in the middle of an eon of famine, that's how you read the third line, okay? But there's a very common thing called parkel. Say parkel.
Intermediate time.
So the whole structure of the time of the universe is outlined in the Abhidharma, and it's very intriguing because it's time and space measurement, the measurement of time and space in the 4th chapter. So it's 3rd chapter. So it's something amazing because they break down measurement of space down to 10 to the 60th power small. So you take an inch and you split it up 10 million times. And so subatomic measurements are in the Abhidharma Kosha. Then you go the opposite way and you go to galactic measurements. And they say this is the measure of the galaxy, medium galaxy, smaller galaxy, greater galaxy, how many light years across. It's amazing. This was written, it was spoken 2,500 years ago. And then they get into cycles of time in the universe, the passing of galaxies and what happens between the passing of galaxies and what happens during the creation of galaxies, and then how long they take to fade away and then come back. And that's called parkel, say parkel. So parkel is a kind of kalpa that means the space between kalpas. Okay, the space between kalpas, empty space between the kalpas. So you could have read this as parkel, and it would be wrong. Okay, so it's a tricky translation. It's a tricky piece of translation here. Okay, I like to also. This is an interesting place where the Tibetan is a sound translation, which is very common in Chinese translations from Sanskrit, but it's rare in Tibetan. But this word kalpa is in Tibetan, it's kalpa. Okay, so they obviously chose to translate it from the sound rather than the meaning. Okay, and that's very rare in Tibetan. The reason I mentioned that is because of another word, kalwa. Say kalwa. And that's a completely different word. And the only difference is a silent letter. Okay, so the two words are exactly pronounced the same, kalwa and kalwa. Okay, kalpa means a billion years, right, or whatever. What's kalwa like kalsang?
Virtue.
Yeah, it means your share of something. Okay, and it means good luck or good karma. Okay, so kawasangbo or Kelsang. Kelsang is a very, very typical Tibetan name. We have a friend Kelsang in Japan, right? And that means this guy is so good, he would have been the #1 Buddha in the eon of goodness. Okay, so people like to name their kids Kelsang. Okay, which means you have your goodness, goodness. Okay, so don't confuse, as a translator, don't confuse Kalwa with Kalpa, okay? Because the sound is completely the same. Cool. Who's gonna read the next one, Seiji? Let me get it bigger here. There we go. Yay, Fernanda. Thanks for doing such a nice job in Mexico City this last year. We had such a, yeah. Ana and Fernanda, they're amazing. And they You know, we decided to try a 3-day event, ACI event in Mexico City, and I didn't know if it was going to work out, and it was amazing. And we scheduled it again for this year. So get ready. Okay, okay.
Thank you. You're all invited to come in July.
Yay. It's a short flight and it's a beautiful place.
Yes. Sem Kang Phong Sem Cheng Phong Shing Du Bala
Yeah.
Bag Ni Mi Shakte Gurte Yo Biat Ko Du Na Sokshu Dung Du Nieba Nagju Sik.
Nice. Okay. Yay. Yeah. Seiji, Samchen.
Living beings.
Yeah. Pong is an ancient word. By the way, all these words are ancient. That's translation of Sanskrit from 13th centuries ago. Pong means poor, don't have things. Okay, Pong. Xing means and. Ulwa. Ulwa also means impoverished. Okay, Ulwa. Right. It's not related to Ulwa, to offer something, and it's not related to Uk, which means breathing. Okay. Ulwala. And it's not related to bull, which means to offer. Okay. So may I become for those people who are poor and don't have anything. May I become, again, it's me, okay? May I become there.
Treasure.
There means any kind of like gold mine or deposit under the earth of precious like copper, gold, silver, okay? That's called a there, okay? And Rinpoche there, we have it in the mandala offering, okay? It means a treasure, okay? It can mean a mine and it can mean a treasure. What's the ultimate there in the world? According to, ancient thought, it's the ocean. Okay, all jewels are found there. Okay, so sometimes it refers to the ocean. Okay, so may I become a there, which means sake.
Inexhaustible.
Yeah, cannot ever end. May I become, you keep digging down and you just keep finding more underneath. Okay, a lot of diamond mines are like that. They don't stop mining them because they ran out of diamonds. They just go down to the middle of the earth and they just stop. They can't dig any deeper. Every time you dig a foot down, you have to dig 3 feet wide to get the truck down there. So then it gets ridiculous. The hole gets to be 2 miles wide. So you just leave it and it destroys the environment. Okay. Dagni Mise Tirgite, may I become a inexhaustible mine of Yoche.
Riches. Possessions.
Anybody? No. Yoche
Stuff.
means
Tools.
okay. In English, we say stuff, right? And it's exactly the same. It's like, what would you like to be for poor people? I'd like to be stuff. Okay. Like food, clothing, furniture, cars, whatever they need. Stuff. Okay. Yoje means stuff. Koa is an ancient word that means necessities. Okay, things that people really need is called koa. And then gu, anybody? $100?
9.
That's woke up word. Who said 9?
That was me. But meaning a lot in this case.
Oh, wait. Knowing your daughter's tuition, we better raise it.
9,000.
I don't want to know. And I'm not offering 9,000. Yeah, it means 9. But in ancient languages, 9 means a lot. Okay? When you want to say zillions, in English we say zillions. Then in Sanskrit you say 9. 9 means that people need. And it just means a lot. Okay? There's another one, gya. which means 100. Ganden Hagyama, the 100 angels, but it's a billion. Okay, big number. All right, gu. Kogu means countless things that people need. It means 9 things. But in ancient languages, 9 was a lot. Okay. Natso means all different variety. You know, if they need pastries, they should have every kind of different kind that you might find at a good cafe, for example. Okay. All right. Then here's the sweet part. Dun means
Before me.
in front of somebody. Okay, dun. By the way, there's many Tibetans, there's many Sanskrits, there's many Sanskrit dialects, and there's a Tibetan language called epistolary, which means writing letters to people. It's a whole different language. I never taught it to. It's very complex, very difficult. But you start every letter with Chloe Dundu, which means I offer this letter to the feet of Chloe. Okay, Dundu. So Dundu means in front of. Okay, or at the feet of. Okay, Dundu. Dun means in front of. There was a movie Kundun, and that's a high honorific. It means in your divine presence, Kundun. So that's used for some high teachers. Kundun. Okay. Kundun. Dundu nyewa negirchik. May I appear in front of living beings as whatever they need. You know, some kids having Christmas, may I appear as a tricycle in front, you know, and they go, wow, mom bought me a tricycle, you know, and it's really just Shanti Deva. Okay, right? And I love that. And by the way, I think you can make a lot of cool meditations out of this, you know. May I appear as a chocolate bar to all the kids. May I appear as a, I don't know, as a day off to Geshe Michael, or, you know, like you can pray for anything, and then may I appear in front of them in this way. Okay, so it's a very, very sweet line. Say dundu, nyewa, negyorchi, and the nyewa is beautiful because it says, may I appear right in front of them where they don't even have to take a single step to get on the tricycle. May I appear as a tricycle within 1 step of every kid in the universe. Like that. It's very sweet. It's really super sweet. It's a very rich text for meditation. Okay. All right. I thought you might like to know the word nidhi, which means there. It's the Sanskrit. So nidhi means that idea of an underground deposit of gold or jewels or things like it's called nidhi in Sanskrit, and it's very common in Sanskrit. Ni means below. The word beneath comes from ni. The word underneath comes from ni. The word netherworld comes from ni. And nidhi, di is a past tense of da, so it means it's located below. So it means an underground mine or something like nidhi. Okay, so now you can remember. There's a lot of Sanskrit texts that are called nidhi. All right, who are you gonna torture next, Seiji? What's going on here? Okay.
Oh, Anae, do you want to try?
Yeah, hang on. I'm sorry. I got some kind of technical problems going on here.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go.
Luz dan de sin longs di John Don dos Sum Dewa Ba Taham Kat Kijang Kyang Tem Kan Kun Ji Don Gdu P
Good.
Songs ba, pong ba,
Yeah.
met, par, tang, bar, ja.
Nice. Good. Nice. Yeah. By the way, if we find a mistake in a text, we mark it with this percent sign. And it means we think it's a mistake, but could be just an ancient spelling or something. So we don't change it. We just mark it. Okay. So Seiji, Lu.
Body.
And Daishin means, and in the same way, all my longchus, possessions, all the things I own, and also my gewa,
My good virtue.
from the two, from the three times, past, present, and future. Every good deed I ever did in the past, every good deed I'm doing nowadays, and every good deed I haven't done yet, but I will do. Okay, tamje, all of them. And then we go to the verb, which is at the end, which is typical. Tang. This is the tang in Tonglen. Yeah, I give away. I give away. Okay, I give away to Semchen Kun. Yeah, this pongba is a different one, and this one means with hesitation. Okay, so pongba mepa. Yeah, without hesitation, in order that they should then do
Achieve their goals.
their goals.
Siddhartha.
And Gibson gave us the Sanskrit Siddhartha. Okay, that's the name of Lord Buddha. That's his personal name. So Shantideva is hiding Lord Buddha's personal name in the verse. It's a very beautiful. Okay, so he says, I hope everybody's Siddhartha. Siddha means to reach, and Artha means your goals. And Lord Buddha, the prince's name, Lord Buddha was Siddhartha. Okay, which means the person who achieved their goals. Now for the deeper meaning, we're gonna ask Stanley Nelson. Yeah, in the monastery, it's a secret name, Siddhartha Dindra. Yeah, it means money. Okay. Then, monks don't have any work, so they don't make any money. So when our sponsors walk into the monastery, everybody's like, did you meet Siddhartha? And it means, did they make a donation? Because money gets everything done. Siddhartha. Okay. And it's a code word so that the sponsor doesn't know you're talking about their donation. Okay. Just so you know, if they ever start talking about Siddhartha in the monastery, you know. Okay. It's kind of a useful word. All right. Yeah. Okay. And I found the Sanskrit. The Pongba spelling is unusual, and we confirmed it. It should have been Pongba, but it's okay. Okay, so without hesitation, that's the idea. We sometimes make large offerings to other people, but we hesitate, or we feel a little nervous to do it. We start to say, I will make a donation. Who was raising money at the beginning of class? Oh,
It's YSI to help cover the expense of the.
That's why they named the hotel Poco Diablo.
Exactly.
It's a little double of an expense. So I'll get 500 for that. Okay. I was gonna say that and I forgot. Okay. So yeah, let's do that. Me means my foundation, which means the money that Seiji makes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Which reminds me, we're almost out of time. Seiji's almost at time to 15 minutes of how would you use today's verses in your real life, okay? But I wanted to make an advertisement. See, I have a smart way of doing it. Yeah. This is the Geshe thing. It's called ding, 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 checkmate. Okay. You work back 3-4 steps. and then you guide the unsuspecting student into doing something that you want. So anyway, I have this dream this year, as I mentioned in the other translation class, but that was mostly for Europeans, okay? And this translation class is mostly for Asians, time-wise, because the world is round. So they didn't hear the advertisement I made, but we will finish 14 years hard work, for me anyway, of the Lam Rim, of the teachings on the steps of the path. So we've been doing it for 14 years. And Kyoto, we leave for Kyoto the day after Thanksgiving, and that will be the last class of 14 years. And then it's my job to think what would be sexy to do next. And that's some of the things I have to think about. And so ACI, the Steps on the Path organization has, they have 4 events every year. And I have to think of a new thing that would be useful for people or good for people to learn. So I had a inspiration to continue with 2 texts. And one is going to be this book called Dangzhen Shangdep. Say Dangzhen. Shangdep means a vociferous argument, a nasty argument between 2 people. And then Dangzhen means your selfishness and your grasping to self-existence fights against wisdom. So it's called the bitter argument between wisdom and grasping to a real pen, for example, okay? And it's a very, very famous piece of poetry, long, very long. And it's a classic. It's a, what do you call that? Classic poem, epic. It's epic poetry, and it's never been translated correctly. And my teacher started it, and he couldn't finish it. He passed away before he could finish it. So I decided to teach it. And I'm 9 or 10 years into it. And I want to finish it. So I thought next year, half of what we'll do is we'll finish that book, because it's a extraordinary meditation manual. It's not just an argument between self-existence and emptiness. It's about 100 meditations on emptiness. So it's extraordinary meditation manual. Because I feel that in that organization, the Steps of the Path organization, we haven't had enough emphasis on meditation, or we could do more. And that's the place to do it. It's called Samadhi House. So anyway, half the time we're going to study that book. And then in the second class, we're going to do Diamond Way. Sort of a, I'll call it accessible Diamond Way. We have a 18 course, 20,000 pages Diamond Way course, which takes 7 years to finish properly. And you have to finish 7 years of preparation. So that's a 14-year course. And there are brave people who are doing that. And people like John Brady, Carney, and other great people, Gyaltse, Venerable Jigme Palmo, people are teaching it in the world, and it's amazing. And Peter and Maria are teaching it. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy they're doing it. So the tough guys are working through this like 14-year thing. And I think it would be nice to have a more, I don't know, something a little bit less than 14 years, like 13 years. No. So anyway, I was going to do Diamond Way for a while, because I haven't taught it in 20 years or something. So I would like to do some in sort of a smooth way, or, not too nasty way. So anyway, to do that, you are required to do a Lam Rim. Before you go into that topic, you are required to teach the student Lam Rim. And I was trying to think of a nice, beautiful, accessible Lam Rim that I could finish in 4 sessions next year for that organization. And I thought to use a lamrim called Song of My Spiritual Life, which was, it's Jetsun Kapa's own record of his spiritual life. And he's unusual because he never talked about himself, ever. Except in this one book. He said, here's how I did my practice, my whole life. This is how I practice. It's very short, it's very beautiful, it's very complete, and Gibson finished it. So Gibson finished it this year. Yeah. So we're gonna clean it up and get it ready to publish, okay, by February. And our Diamond Cutter Press has agreed to publish it on time for the springtime, right? If she gets it on time, for the springtime retreat at Diamond Mountain. And here's a painting. So my wife's son, Kazo, is a painter. He's a good painter. And years ago, I asked him to paint Tsongkhapa for me, and he did. And I like it. His eyes are a little red, I don't know. But I enjoy it, and I enjoy the painting. So I thought me and Rosa talked it over, and we probably will use it on the cover. And it'll be a pocket book. So we have a normal Mixed Nuts Translators book series, and each book is 23 pounds and 12 kilos, and you got to drag it around. And then we have a pocketbook series, which is books that are meant to fit in your purse. Okay, and the size of that book will be a purse book. Okay, and so that leads me to my real advertisement, which is he's my godson, by the way. He's doing an art show in Flagstaff, and he owns a large gallery there. He rented a huge gallery. It would fit 20 artists, and he gives it to other artists to paint. He makes it available to other artists to paint. So there's all the best artists in Flagstaff have a place to go and paint. And it's a huge garage, what do you call it? Mechanic garage, but it's one of those military concert huts. So anyway, it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful place for a art show. And so for the first time in his life, he's doing an art show of himself, and he's very, very good. So anyway, he's invited everybody to come December 13th, 6 o'clock in Flagstaff. Okay, and you can look it up. It's called Mocap. It's free to get in. You can, of course, you can't drink the wine and the cheese, but you can eat the cheese. It'll be a cool show. So I'm advertising that. Okay, I'm getting out of here. You ready, Seiji?
All right.
Yeah, go. Okay. Seiji's gonna lead a conversation. I have to leave this open, right? Of why.
No, I don't.
How could you use these verses in your real life? Okay, here we go.
Okay. All right. So beautiful, beautiful chapter. Well, I want to start by saying that this connects really well to the previous book. One of my favorite things about the previous book was that it taught us how to use the practice of Tonglen outside of the cushion without people necessarily knowing. And what I love about these verses here is that it's things that we can think of as we're going through a normal life. So, yeah, beautiful prayers. Anyone has any ideas that how you would apply it to your life?
I will try.
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking
this verse where he says, "May I appear as a tricycle or as food? May I be that thing?" And I was thinking that as we walk our day in our daily life, we could have this mind like if I'm walking in Madrid, going to the subway, let's say, and I see someone sleeping on the floor, I could instantly say, "May I appear as a good home to you," or if it's cold, like a blanket. And to load that also with the 4 types of giving, like not only being the blanket, but being the inner offering and the understanding of seeds and emptiness. And if you see someone, a boy crying, may I be like a happy thought that will make you not cry, and apply that.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, as Teresa was saying, this is a beautiful way to walk through the day and plant seeds every step. Beautiful.
You know, I like that in the last book we always said, "May I destroy my self-cherishing," and it's beautiful. And I see this as the next step. Like you not only destroying your self-cherishing, but you're doing it through these awesome prayers, wishes. Beautiful. Next.
Hi. I was thinking that this kind of helped me expand my ideas of what I can give. Sometimes when we get into this path of giving to others, we feel like we're short in things like money or time, because that's the things we want to get, right? We want to like upgrade our like the 5 goals of a human life, so that eventually we could give something of what we have. But I think this chapter helps me a lot to think that with a single good thought, it creates the virtue to eventually be able to give everything I want to all beings, right? So it was very inspiring to see that it doesn't matter what we think we have or don't have, the possibility to be generous is always available.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Oh, of course. Geshe Michael.
So we've been talking about diamond way practice, and there's a thing called what do you call healthy paranoia in diamond way practice, and I will raise the possibility that some people have succeeded in this city or in this skill of appearing as a tricycle. You see, I mean, I'll suggest that some people have succeeded at that, which in the mind of a diamond wave practitioner becomes this kind of paranoia that every tricycle you ever meet is a Buddha and is an emanation of a Buddha. And there are no normal tricycles. Like every chair you ever sat in was some Buddha who studied Shantideva before and perfected that city. And you're sitting in the Buddha's lap or something like that right now. And so I suggest it as a kind of a healthy paranoia. It can get a little weird, but I suggest it sometimes think about it, you know. Like the next cinnamon roll you eat could be a Buddha.
Wow. Wow. So there's nothing that cannot be a Buddha.
I just to kind of add to all of this, that the very thing that a Buddha would do would be to appear in all these different ways, and what better seed to plant it but to actually become the things that people want, you know, mentally put that into practice. If it's true that the Buddha emanates as inanimate objects and people and thoughts, and then those would be the seeds. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I haven't thought about this before, but what you're making me think of with this teaching is that I could start to pretend that I'm those things before I actually am. Like, if I see someone getting a gift or eating food that they like or anything at all, I could just think about how that's me, since it is my karma anyway, to see that happen, to take possession of that and have that become an engine for me to truly see myself that way in a way that's not pretending.
Gibson.
So the other day, Geshe is talking about how to find a sign and make a correlation about the deed that you've done before, how to give the sacred offering to other people. So I think it can combine with the text you translated before about the tone land, using every breath that you have and secret that giving everything through your breath to other people and without they knowing. I think because I read the Tonglen text a few days ago, and one of the sections say, can you actually take away other people's pain and actually give them happiness? And Nagarjuna says, you can, but it will help you to become the one day you actually can take away other people's pain and happiness. So I think it's very good for me to do it. Thank you.
Yay. Alex, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is maybe a spoiler for DCI 3 advanced level. But I was translating it, and Geshe said about be the boomerang, and it's beautiful. For me, it was beautiful. Like you can be the other part of the seed of their karma. Like if they are doing a good thing, you can be the boomerang. Like you can give them what they deserve or what will grow from their own seed that they are doing now. You can say like, I don't want you to wait for the seed to grow, so I will be the boomerang. So I will give you whatever you deserve because you planted it. So I remember that now and I wanted to share it. I will be the love karma, yeah.
Thank you. I think we have maybe time for one or two.
If there's no one else, I have another one. I was just thinking about sometimes we feel like there's things we want, but there's no people to plant them with. Like we're trying to find the partner or the person to plant the seed with. Maybe this is also a great meditation to just like think of all the people and all the beings that I even don't know. May they have this that I want, or may they be the object of the happiness I want to see in the future. So it's just like expanding the objects that we have to also be generous, even if we don't perceive them directly right now.
Yay.
First of all, Seiji, Geshe Michael, thank you so much for teaching. There was a line, I don't remember the verse, but it was emphasizing without hesitation. And it just feels like I've underestimated the danger of hesitation. It's like, I don't want angels to hesitate. I don't want the Buddhas to hesitate. You know, it's the urgency, that feeling is something that I haven't connected to the ways that I hesitate when I think of serving someone else, or I have a thought of how I could help, but the self gets in the way of, oh, is it going to be weird, or how am I going to be perceived? So it's just a really beautiful emphasis. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think it's time for Peachtree World News. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Geshe.
Yeah, thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Seiji. Yeah, go to the bathroom because, as Geshe said, this may be your last chance. Okay, so a lot of things happening these days. Wonderful event, YSI. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Today I had a chance to go to the YSI house. It's like amazing. It's like I was talking with Mike about it's like being in a house built with, you see how they built with poker cards, like a castle, and the atmosphere is pristine. Like I didn't want it to say anything because I thought like anything could like crumble the place down. So I just want to congratulate you because I don't know what you're doing, Arao, but it's amazing. You're building like I don't know, like an army of enlightened samadhi people or something. So first I want to show you the certificate that Jigmela shared with us, and just, I don't know, she was here and talked to her. She said it's okay to share this, but we are very happy that, well, she went to the bathroom probably. It's amazing that she went through it. She was going through some health issues, but now she seems to be on her way to a better, how to say, condition. And I just wanted to kind of congratulate her, but also kind of say that it's so wonderful to have her around and wish her the very, very best, and to please stay and keep helping us and keep teaching us. So thank you, Jigmela, for everything. And yeah, just to remind you that we are in the context of YSI. Is wonderful event. I was also telling Mike, like, this is kind of, I feel, because I spent a lot of time in Sedona, that this is like kind of a Christmas party when like all the family from all over comes and visits and we hang out. So it's wonderful to have these opportunities as well. Sometimes gets a little quiet, not too quiet, but this, what I'm saying is like, it's very noticeable when so many people comes. So thank you for coming. And in that sense, we want to encourage you and ask for your help if you can and want. This venue is a wonderful venue. You can participate and help us to keep having this venue. Otherwise, maybe tomorrow we don't have class here. Who knows? Geshe Michael already gave a big support with this. Thank you so much, Geshe. And if you are interested, if you can, please help us for paying off Hatha Yoga Pradipika for venue. And also, if you are here live, just to remind you, these classes happen every Saturday, every Monday. In the western part of the world, in the eastern part, they happen on Tuesday and Saturday. Yeah. And last time we did a little mistake. I learned something cool, like the Chinese language, they add one line for day. It's like one line for Monday, 2 lines from Tuesday, 3 lines for Wednesday, and I don't know, more things like that. Very cool. And okay, we were playing a game the other day about what's the relationship between the 4 fruits and the Bodhisattva levels. And I've been really wondering for a long time. Nobody knows, nobody cares, I don't know. But really, those are the things, like sometimes I get very, how to say, excited, but also like I wonder a lot, like what I can find out. And then our dear friends, I want to thank you so much, Alexander and Elena. Thank you so much, because they help us, and what they did is very wonderful. They put the 18 foundation courses into a AI system, and then they came up with this answer, which I don't know if it's correct, but it's wonderful to see the attempt. They say Boomy 1 is fruit 1. Boomy 4 is fruit 2. Boomy 5 is for fruit 3. And Boomy 7 is for fruit 4. I mean, it will be long to read everything, but it's very interesting. And because of that, I want to congratulate you, and you made the prize, which is, you want to come and real quickly receive this wonderful book, Karmic Management. Thank you so much. Is your prize. Plus, I promise $100, but you didn't submit the video yet. So I'm going to give you 50. And if you do the video, you get another 50. Okay. But thank you. It's wonderful. It's wonderful and great idea. Yeah, so that's some of the things we try to do, interact with audience and bring a good break where you have good time. And also if you can get with something meaningful, God bless. And then, yeah, you can follow, you know, social media things, whatever, say hi, send, if you want to say something or share a project, just contact us. You can send an email or just talk to me. And we are planning an event for New Year. And that's all. I know we also want to invite you to consider coming to Kyoto. Tim Lowenhop is, I don't see him here today, but soon he will be here with us talking about it. And I think he has good news for people who may want to go. There are new opportunities and chances to join. And yeah, he will be here probably next Monday talking about that. Okay, now we have a special interview with a friend of us who is actually right now in, excuse me, Japan. So cool Tech Table be kind enough to spotlight Edmond from DSCU and Xiaoping. Is Xiaoping here? Somewhere.
Hello, Juan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't see you. Oh yeah, now I see you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Is one of the main producers of the DSCU, the university that Xiaoping is the president of, and he has exciting news to share with us today. So Edmond, can you share with us what's new, what's happening in DSCU?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm now, for those who don't know me, I'm Edmund Huang, and now I previously stayed in Shenzhen, but now I moved to Kyoto with my family 2 years ago for the DSU project. Yeah, and now I'm staying in Kyoto. And by the way, Kyoto is a very beautiful city. You will definitely come for the Asia event. Yeah. Actually, we have for DSU, we have just finished our last term, which is in US. We visit Sedona, we visit Princeton, and also we have classes in Princeton and also Anding, inside the Anding building, which is very exciting. And then after that, now actually we just started our enrollment process for our next cohort, which will include the MBA, EMBA, and also a YLP program. Yeah, this is what we have been. We are working on. Actually, our team is quite busy these days. There will be because we will start our next cohort in the coming March. And then the first cohort will graduate in March, and then we will start the next cohort in March. So this is the season that we are planning all the recruitment enrollment activities. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good time for people who want to sign up for to be part of the next group. Yeah. DSU. I have been so lucky to have the chance, to be in some of your events, to be in some of the classes. I think the content is amazing. It's unbelievable. Also, the experiences that the DSCU offers are very well thought. Like, you will guarantee have a good time. When they come to Sedona, it's super, super fun for them. I have seen it. Then they just had a program in New York and New Jersey. Also unbelievable. And I see there is a very special and sweet connection with that the students get to develop with Geshe Michael, Xiaoping, Stanley, and other teachers. So what I've seen is unbelievable. It's really worth it. Could you tell us, Edmund, a little bit more about the 3 kinds of programs that people can sign up?
Yeah, first of all, we have an EMBA programs. This program is for the more seniors executive. And the next one will have MBAs, which for the people who just maybe just start a business. And then the last one, which is a new one, is what we call the Young Leaders Program. With their the target student are from 18 to 24, which means they are most of the students are having their classes in university. This program is actually quite new. And you know, one of our short-term goal is to get accredited and start our bachelor degree. So this YLP program, Young Leaders Program, is one of the program we started as a preparation for our bachelor degrees.
Okay, and that's next term. It's already beginning, already starting.
Yeah, not started yet. The next cohort will be our first YLP program, and actually we have our first cohort of the EMBA and MBA right now, which this cohort will be graduate in the coming March, and also the coming March will be the starting time of our next cohort. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Edmund. So what people should do if they want to sign up?
Yes, of course. As part of our enrollment process, actually, we have rolled out a very large campaign. And here I would like to introduce 2 of the activity which is going to happen. The first of all is that on November 20th, which is this Friday, in the World Central Time, which is Arizona time at 9 a.m. in the morning, we will have an English section of our enrollment information section in English online. Can you go back to the previous PPT? This one, yeah. As for this one, we will have, if you want to understand more what DSU is doing, and we will also invite some students for the sharing in this event, and also we will have some admission information about our second cohort. So, by the way, Geshe Michael and our students have visited Princeton. I believe many of knows, and then we will also share one of the videos about the Princeton tour, which is quite interesting. You will definitely won't miss it. This is the first one, and the second one actually. In the Asia, actually, we will plan to have an admission information roadshow in different cities in China and also Taiwan. So, and during starting from November to January next year, we will visit different cities for different have admission information sections there. And then for those interested in, you will sign. You will register. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Edmund. And I will make sure to keep sharing the invitation for people so they can attend.
Thank you so much.
Let's say informational programs. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Best wish. We need to go to the next guest, Arao. Thank you, Arao, for everything you're doing. Yeah, I think it's really, really wonderful event. I don't know what you're doing. As I say, you're doing amazing, and I know you're planning more. So can you tell us what is it?
Yeah, well, just a couple of minutes. I'll talk about a couple of events coming up. The first one is for our Asian market, our Asian fans, students, Lady Naguma 2 is coming up. I can't read. The 28th to the 1st of December. This is taken from Geshe Michael's teachings. He taught 10 yoga programs back in the day. And we took from a couple of those programs and created a program on 5 kinds of winds, connected to 5 negative emotions, transformed into 5 kinds of wisdoms, through 19 different practices. It's a very beautiful program, and thank you, Geshe, for teaching us those. if you're interested, talk to one of our Chinese distributors. And it's a very beautiful 4-day program. Second, just confirmed, those dates are wrong. We confirmed them about 10 minutes ago. It's the 5th to the 10th. One of the greatest texts ever written. I'm excited because I was in 3-year retreat for part of these teachings. So I actually haven't heard Geshe Michael's teachings on all of this text. So I'm extremely excited. February 5 to 10, we will embark on a new text, a new journey. And thank you so much for teaching.
You don't know where is it gonna be, Geshe? We're talking about the beach.
Yeah, we have to talk to the boss about that. And then lastly, wanted to talk about a fundraising opportunity. This, we are selling these. This book holder was from Geshe Michael, then spent time with Venerable Jigme on her at her house. And I was talking with Teresa and she said, you know, maybe we talked about pronoia. Like, it's been at Jigme's house. It's been at Geshe Michael's house. Maybe it's Shantideva itself. And I got something to confess, JB. JB just yesterday showed us how to wrap a book properly. And it was really cool. And I unwrapped this and I was wrapping it back up and I thought I did okay. And Geshe was watching. He's like, I'll show you how to do that properly. So JB, I'm sorry, I'm a bad student. Thank you for teaching us the other day. We're fit. The book is a reverse engineered book. We took Geshe Michael's translation of the Pradipika and we made it into a pecha, beautiful wood, outside and inside. We're going to auction 3 of them off. Geshe Michael, we're hoping will give a special message on those 3 on the cover. And then we have another 47%. They'll be signed, they'll be collector items. So that's our fund. We do a fundraiser every single program and we sell things also. And so that's what we'll do this time.
Thank you. Let's go now to Geshe Michael and Adam.